Hi everyone, welcome to the WebDriver Day 7 session. And so far what we have learned is we have covered all the type of locator including basic as well as advanced locators. Yeah, let me share my screen. Hope you guys are able to see my screen. Now from today we are going to start with the WebDriver practice. And while doing WebDriver practice, we will cover some other topics which are related with the WebDriver. Okay. Let's wait until the Eclipse getting started. Okay. I hope this was the last project. I will just close that project. All right, so let's get started with a new project. So I'm creating a new project. Okay. File. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, it's a Maven project I want to see. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm into a wrong workspace. Let me switch my workspace first. It should be batch 03. All right, so I'm into right workspace and it is time to create a new project. I want to create a Maven project. So saying Maven, create simple project, say new, com dot, you can give any name as a group ID, So we already started with a Maven. So group ID is similar like a package name. I'm going to give group ID as com.vikas.training. And then you give artifact ID. Artifact ID is similar like project name, it's actually a project name. So I'm going to give a project name as D07 WebDriver 2. Okay, I will just say finish. Okay, so I got that project created. Okay, here it is. So it's a Maven project. As you can see, it's taking some time about the error database, but yeah, just ignore that error database. Going to src test Java, creating a new class so that I can write the script. Okay, you can give any name, but let me, automate automation practice.com page. Not sure if we already have taken that application in our previous training sessions. Okay, so there is a link, sign in. Okay, so I have to first click on sign in, then there is a create an account. So there you can actually give any account name, email address, and just go ahead and create your account. All right, so let me do that. I will be doing all these steps. Okay, so far let me need a automation practice. Okay, so I got a class created. Now the very first thing is I want to use Selenium, right? So to use the Selenium, we need to add the Selenium project as a dependency to POM, right? So let me open pom.xml. All right, that's my POM. Just click on pom.xml. There we actually write dependency, So let's get the dependency from the Selenium's official website. It is seleniumhq.org. On the download page, okay, and again click on Maven information. So I'm directly firing a URL, maven.html. And there just copy this dependency tag. As you can see, a new version is released, that is 3.9.0. So I will use that 3.9.0 version. Okay, you have to paste that dependency tag inside dependencies. Okay, as you can see, dependencies, then dependency, group ID, artifact ID, version. I will say save. As soon as I say save, you can see there is a progress bar in the Eclipse. Just double click on that, and there you can see, it is actually downloading few things like POM files or the jar files. Those files will get downloaded. All right, so same time I also need testng, right? So let's add a testng tag as well, dependency tag as well, and it is dependency group ID. Okay, group ID for testng is org.testng. All right, then artifact ID. Artifact ID is simply testng for testng, and you need to specify version. But before that, make sure you have installed testng. Go to the about Eclipse. Okay. And click on installation details. There you will see testng. My version is 6.9.10, 6.9.10. So I will be using the 6.9.10 version. Okay, so 6.9.10. Perfect. So I just added that version, and as soon as the jar files downloaded are completed, it will also download the testng jar file. So let's wait for some time. Okay, till the time these jar files get downloaded, let's discuss about two things. So guys, we are learning automation testing, but automation testing is actually a combination of two words. Okay, so it is automation, and then other word is testing. Okay, so when I say automation testing, there are two words. First is automation and second is testing. But what is the meaning of automation? Automation, it means controlling a browser, So browser automation. In our case, it's browser automation. And testing, it means what is testing? So in simple words, I can say that comparing expected versus actual. This is what I will call as a testing. So automation involves excuse me. So automation, it means controlling the browser. For example, opening URL, clicking on a button, typing some value into text box, opening browser, closing browser, all this thing, maximizing a browser, and all these things are coming under automation. Whereas testing, it means checking the expected value with the actual versus expected, that way. So for testing, we have a tool. Okay, the tool is actually WebDriver. We will be using WebDriver for browser automation, whereas TestNG for the testing related stuff. Okay, now what is testing related stuff? It means, it means create new test cases. Let me write it here. Let's say new test case, execute test case, create test suite, execute test suite, get the test report, okay, get the test result, and also with the actual and expected values and all those things, whether it is status, whether it is passed or fail, that way. Whereas the browser, WebDriver, it will automate browser. That means open URL in browser, then click on button or link, or maybe type some value in text box. Okay, or you can say maximize browser or close browser. So this kind of related task, those are carried out using WebDriver, whereas TestNG is going to help you for some testing related stuff. For example, this executing test case, running a test case, getting the result and comparing with the expected and actual, and then decide whether to pass or fail the test case in that way. This is clear, guys? Why we need WebDriver and TestNG? Because we are doing automation testing now. Okay, let's say if I just want to automate a WebDriver, I would have used, if I want to automate browser, I would have used only WebDriver. We don't need TestNG in that case. But now here onwards, from today's session onwards, we will be using TestNG. Okay, so I have two things: dependencies, and first dependency is Selenium Java, second dependency is TestNG, okay, with the 6.9.10 version. And these are the two dependencies I have, because I need this Selenium Java for browser automation, and I need TestNG for actually testing part. Okay. Any questions so far? Let's have a discussion on question and answer so far. Okay, the major question I see is, what is Maven? Guys, we started Maven in day 3 session. Okay, and that time we only had one dependency in the pom.xml. Let me open that. That time we only had one dependency with 3.8.1, and we wrote some automation script using public static void main, because we were not using TestNG. And there was a new tools.demout.com. I wrote a script for logging in. Okay, and so I will just close that old project, close project. Right now I'm into day 7, and in day 7 pom.xml we have Selenium's jar, that is 3.9.0 version, which is the latest version at this moment, and there is another dependency tag, TestNG. So we are, this is the first session that we are actually getting started with the TestNG. Again, I'm repeating, we will be learning Maven, TestNG, Selenium at a time. Okay, but it doesn't mean that we will be only focusing on one part. My focus is on learning WebDriver in detail, but as we move on and we reach to the WebDriver end topic, that time I will teach you Maven and TestNG in more detail. Okay, but still that time we will still continue using Maven as well as TestNG. So one question I received is, what is Maven? Let me tell you guys, Maven is a project management tool, and so far what we did is we created a new Java project, and in the Java build path we used to add that jar file. Remember, in some previous program. For example, first program and the practice program, we in day 1 and day 2. So we added that jar file into the Java build path. But guys, practically speaking, nobody does that. Nobody adds a jar file into build path. What we do is we use Maven, and Maven is the one who actually manages all your project dependencies, who manages the structure of your project, and many things actually. So Maven is a project management tool for Java, and I'm using Maven. Everybody uses Maven in automation testing, and it's very popular right now. I hope I answered your queries. So no need to download a jar file separately and add into Java build path. Simply just open the pom.xml and add the dependency tag, so that jar file will be automatically, all those jar files will be automatically downloaded from the online repository. I hope I clear now. All right. So in my project, we have both the things. In our project, we have both the things. We have Selenium, we have TestNG. Now it is time to write some automation script. Okay. So let's come back to the class, automation practice. Now, till now, what we did is we wrote main method. See, MAIN, control space enter. Till now, what we did is we wrote a main method. So main method is like entry point of execution in your program. So here I'm writing a code. The very first thing is, step 1 is load the driver. So loading the driver, it means set system property. So how we do it? We write system dot set property. Okay, if you want to automate Chrome, we use WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver as the name to the system property. And the path you have to give. So in my case, I have given the path as /driver/ Chrome driver CHRODRIVER .exe. It's a exe file which is saved on the E drive. So if you don't have Chrome driver, please download that Chrome driver. I think it is explained in session 1. Go back to the session 1 and see how we have downloaded Chrome driver and executed the script. So system.set property. Now I'm done with the first step. Second step is launch browser. So to launch a browser, what we do is we write WebDriver. WebDriver is the interface coming from org.openqr.selenium. So just type WEBDR control space. So this control space is going to show you this option. Hit enter. So automatically you can see that input line will get added. So WebDriver driver equal to new. I want to say that Chrome driver. Okay. If you say Chrome driver, that means this line is actually going to launch your browser. The next task I have to do after launching my browser is open the URL. So that I'm going to say driver.get, specify the URL http://automationpractice.com. Okay, that's my page URL. So if I open that automationpractice.com, you will see something like this. This is the page that you will see first. Now on automationpractice.com, I have to click on sign in button. So to click on a sign in button, let's inspect that element and see what it is. So it is a tag. A tag means hyperlink, right? It is having class is equal to login. It is having rel equal to no flow, title is equal to login to your customer account, and there is some sign in text. Okay. Now let's talk about how you can locate this element. So there can be a various locator which you can use. The very first preference is given to ID, but I don't see any ID is there. Can you see ID equal to something? No, right? Is there anything which is name equal to something? No. So you can't use ID. Okay, so you can't use ID. You cannot use name. Then third preference is you can use tag name, but that A is the tag name. The tag name is A and it's not unique, right? There are so many A tags present. So again, skipping that part. Next option is class. So the class name, as you can see, class is equal to login is written, So let's check, how many elements are there which are having class as a login. So for that, the CSS selector that we write it is a class, right? Class starts with dot login. So going to the HTML, Control F and simply say dot login. Can you see a matching element? There is only one matching element with dot login. That means yes, this class is unique to this element only. Okay, there is no any other element which has login class. Okay, so what I will do is I will just make note of one thing. So this thing I can write in Selenium as by dot class name, and the class name has to be login without dot. Okay, this is one option. Other option you can say is by dot CSS selector. In CSS selector, class name starts with dot login. This is also another option. Okay, in CSS selector only there is one more option. You can use the attribute value. The attribute name is class and the value is login. Okay, it is attribute value, so you should write in attributes, that's brackets. The square bracket stands for attribute equal to the value. So this one is also going to work. Another locator is you can see that href. You can use this href attribute also. Okay, not able to copy element. Let's see. Okay, let me use something else. Oops, my bad. I want to use that hyperlink. Again, I think I did mistake. No. So I'm saying that href is equal to that complete URL. So I'm saying that href equal to that complete URL. But how many matching elements are there? There are two matching elements in total to that, which are having href is equal to this URL, my account, so I will not use that one. Let me try something else. Let's try this title equal to login to your customer account. Okay. So let me copy that and see is it unique. Can you see that, guys? It is unique or not? Can you see is it unique? Yes, it is, right? So I can use this as a CSS selector by dot CSS selector and just paste it here. Okay, this is also one valid CSS selector that you can use. Okay, this is valid. The another CSS selectors you can write is, instead of just simply writing all this locator, you can optionally say that, tag name also, like tag name is A and A. So this is also valid. Okay, but guys, again, as I said earlier, try to use the minimum condition. So I'm only saying that class name is login, or the class attribute has to be login, or the title attribute has need to have a value login into your customer account. So if you add tag name, that means you are creating multiple dependencies. Okay, though it is valid, still I do not recommend it, but just generally I'm writing it here. Okay, so all these locators are valid, and let's find out more option, guys. Now CSS, let's assume CSS is done. Now think about other locators that we can use, guys. Tell me, guys, suggest me if there is any other locator that we can use. Yeah, very good, guys. See, you have seen that this is a tag. A tag means hyperlink. And in WebDriver, we have a special locator for hyperlinks, that is by.link text. And in that we write actually the link text, right? So the link text is going to be, the text which is inside that a start a tag till the end of a tag. And the text I see, it is sign in. All right. So it has to be sign in. It is case sensitive. Optionally, you can use, let's say there are so many white spaces and you are not able to find the element, you are getting no such element. With the help of by.link text sign in, you can try this partial link text. You can try this also, So partial link text, it is like substring, just pass on the substring. It will ignore the white spaces which are, starting and ending and those kind of things. So I'm saying that the hyperlink which is containing the sign in text, that element I want. So this is also valid. Now you can write for the same element, you can write the XPath. So XPath syntax is, right, / tag name is star, and there you can see @attribute name class is equal to the class is login. This is valid. Or you can also combine the tag name. Instead of writing star, you can say that a tag. This is also valid. Or you can use that title attribute also. The title attribute, right? So you can use the title attribute also / star @ stand for attribute title is equal to, let me write, copy paste the title. Okay, let me replace the double quote with a single quote, because insert, if you want to write double quote inside double quote, you should write / before the double quote. For example, in this case, I should write / here and at the end also. Okay, so these are the valid XPath. Few more XPath that you can use is / star. I want to say that element having text as sign in. So just say text open bracket close bracket equal to sign in. So the meaning of this locator is, find an element which has text as a sign in. So this will also help you to check whether that by.link text is unique or not. Let's say you want to use this by.link text and you want to check that link text sign in is unique or not. So you can use this XPath, right? So as you can see it here, find by string, selector or XPath. Only these three options are supported. So I'm writing XPath. And as you can see that, / star opening bracket text open bracket close bracket sign in is not found. It is not found. It is all because of, there are some white spaces, extra spaces and tabs, and those characters are there. So this is not going to match exactly. So what I will say is, okay, let's say I want to say that text contains sign in. So the syntax is / star square bracket, I will call contains. Okay, contains takes 2 parameter. Now where to check? So I want to check inside a text. Okay, I want to check text is containing sign in. So can you see that locator is getting matched? So this is one, but this is another option. So contains. Now where to search? I want to search inside a text. And what to search? That is sign in. So if there is an element which contains sign in inside the text, that means that element will be selected. So I see few questions on this chat window. How do you verify the partial link text or a link text value you are using is unique or not? So what I do is I actually write XPath selector, and then using a XPath selector I get to know that how many elements are there with this text. If you want to use a partial link text or something, you can use this syntax. You can use a contains in the XPath. So okay, Harshal said, can we write / star attribute equal to link text? So the answer to Harshal, no Harshal, we cannot write that because attribute is different and the text is different. Can you see that sign in? It is a text which is present at the start tag and end tag, in between the start tag and the end tag. Is it an attribute? Is that sign in is an attribute? No, it is not attribute, right? It is text, and you cannot write uh, text as the attribute. I hope it is clear now. The other CSS selectors that you can write is you can actually take help of that / star any tag name, or you can write a tag, that is also fine. Title attribute, log into your customer account. I think that's it. So you can also use this much also. That is also fine. Yes, Vaishali, it is also known as inner text. Okay, perfect. So these are the different locators which you can use for locating one element. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There are almost 15 locators only for locating one element. Okay, so in short, what I want to tell you is, you can have so many locators to locate one element uniquely, but so this is the practice you should have, guys. You should be able to locate that element anyhow using any technique. In this case, I did not have to use the parent and child element. You can see that. But if I start using parent and child, I get more options again. But which is not really required. If you can directly locate an element, why to locate first parent and then child? Okay, so there is a question. What white space problem? Didn't got that. Okay, let me tell you the problem with the spaces. See, this is the locator I want to see / star text equal to sign in. Let me try that text here. Can you see that it is locating element? Yes or no, Varsha? This is working? I will tell you reason why it is not working. The reason is, let me double click on the sign in. Okay, as soon as you see double click on a sign in, there are so many spaces here. Oops. Can you see that? There are so many spaces. See, this is tab. There are 2 tabs. Then again tab, tab, tab. So total there are 5 tabs and 1 new line character. So this tabs and new line character considered as a white space. It's all because this white space we are not matching. So if you, instead of just saying sign in, if you say this, again this is not working because there is a new line text also which I cannot give it from here. Okay, it is not working. So just because of that spacing it was not working. So what I said is, I said the text is containing sign in. Let me try this second one. Now it is working because now I am saying the text should contain sign in. Yes, Shrikant. Alright, so I hope it is clear the difference. So in my case, this is not going to help me, but you should always try. If you want to say that by.link text, you should try with sign in XPath. Okay, it will tell you that whether this element with the inner text, link text, is it unique or not. So yeah, perfect. All right. So these are the different locators that we can use, but in my case I'm going to use very simple locator That is, I will use by.className login. Driver.findElement by.className login is my class. Okay, and what if you remember the first session, so this findElement method is taking object of a by. By is an abstract class. On that abstract class there is a static method class name. That static method takes parameter of a string. That string parameter is converted into object of a by, and that by object is returned by the class name method. See, that by object is written, and that object of by I am passing it to the findElement class. FindElement class returns web element, and you need to work on the web element. So I will get web element as a return type from this this piece of a code. On that web element I will simply call click, so it will perform actually click on the web element, that is the login. So let's go here and see. Click on sign in. Once I click on sign in, there is a text box with for email address. Inspect that. Now input type equal to text, class is equal to is required, validate, account, input, form control. Can anyone tell me how many classes are there for this one element? How many classes are there for one element? Waiting for your answer, guys. Yes, Swapna is right. There are 4 classes. Yes, Harshal, thanks. So is required, validate, account, input, and form control. These are the 4 classes. Okay, so these are the 4 classes. Okay, you can use any one class. You can identify any one class and use that. For example, I think account input has to be unique, because other thing is required might be there might be multiple classes which is required. Validate might be a multiple classes. Account input it's something like unique thing, I say. And form control is like a common thing, na? There may be multiple form control or something like that. So let's check if account input is unique. Dot account input, and there are again 3 matching elements. Okay, so there are 3 matching elements. So first one is the email address, second one is the already registered email address and the password. So 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 what was that class name? Account input. So I can't use that uniquely, right? Let's move ahead and find out, type equal to text, ID is equal to email, and name equal to email. If you remember, I always give the first preference to the ID, right? This is what I am telling you always. First preference should go to ID, then name, then tag name, then class name, then if it is a hyperlink, then first preference you should give to link text or a partial link text. And if none of the above, then you should use CSS, and then last option XPath. This has to be the order. For my web element, so for my web element, you see that element here. Yeah. So there is a ID email underscore create. There is a ID email underscore create. So the very first thing you should do is check that ID is unique or not, or there are multiple elements which matching the same ID. Copy the ID. Okay, and in CSS selector ID starts with hash. So I'm saying hash, press the ID and check how many matching elements are there. I can see only one matching element. That means this is unique, and I can use it for locating element. Okay. So driver dot find element by dot ID, the ID which is account create, and on that ID I want to perform send keys. Send keys, it means typing something. So I want to type Vikas T hng@gmail.com. Okay, so just now done with the typing email address. Okay, let me explain you in short. Driver.findElement, this code will return you the object of web element. On that web element, I am calling send keys. Send keys, it means typing some value into your text box. So I hope it is clear. Let me know if you have any questions. Please ping me on chat window. I would be happy to answer your query. So typing the email address is done. The next fun part is clicking on the create account. Okay, let's inspect that part also. So this is a span, as you can see. This is a span. Let me move it here. See, this is a span. Okay, you can click on a span, but do you see ID, name, class name, or anything else to this span? Yes or no? Do you see any simple locator directly for this span? No, right? So in this case, I will take I will take help of parent and child. Okay, so the parent tag is button. Okay, let me see how many buttons are there. So if you just simply type button, it will tell you how many elements are there matching with the button. But this is not a normal button. Oops, sorry. So this is a normal. It is not a normal button. It is a create account button, and for that button you see ID, right? Submit, create. There is a ID. So I always prefer using ID first. So hash, press the ID, check is it unique? Yes or no? Can you see that element button is unique with ID as a submit create? Yes, it is unique, right? There is only one matching node. One of one is displayed. So I will use that ID to look at the element. But the element which I want this span. I don't want this button. So using this ID, you can actually locate the button tag. I want to say that immediate child, that is greater than sign, span. So what I'm saying is, first locate the element which is having ID as create, submit create, and to that element there is an immediate child. The immediate child tag is span. So now you can see I am able to locate that element uniquely, and this is using a CSS selector. So let me go back here, driver dot find element by dot CSS selector. Okay, I just clicked on. I just want to click on that span. Okay, I will get a web element, and on that web element I'm saying click. So that's it. This is done. Now the next step is, let me type that manually so that I can open the next page. Alright, on the next page I want to click on Mr. radio button. So right click, inspect. This is input type equal to radio. Type equal to radio, it means it is a radio button. Name equal to ID gender. ID is equal to ID underscore gender 1 and value equal to 1. So as you can see, ID is unique. ID underscore gender 1. So it is unique. Let me check if it is unique. Every time whenever you are locating element, please check is it unique. At least if you are working on that page or on that element first time, because normally in day-to-day life we are testing only one application, and after some practice we get to know that is there any matching element. We can actually easily predict that are there any other matching element for the same locator or not. But if you are doing it initially, or if you are doing it for the first time, then every time you create a locator, please get it confirmed whether it is unique or not. So it has ID as gender 1, and you can see that is unique. Let's say I want to use name equal to gender. So for name is the attribute. So this is the syntax we follow in CSS selector, right? So name is equal to ID underscore gender is the value which I have given. But the problem is there are two matching elements found for name equal to ID underscore gender. Okay. Now why there are two? So this is the first radio button. To the left hand side you can see this MR radio button is getting selected. This is first, and the second one has to be somewhere here. So for that MRS, Ms. There is a second radio button, okay, which is not again unique. So I will not suggest you to go and use name for locating radio buttons. For radio buttons, try to find out some other unique locator. So in my case, I had a unique locator as ID gender 1. So I will use by.id gender 1. Alright. So driver dot find element by dot ID, and that ID is ID underscore gender 1 dot. On that element I have to click. Okay. Let's say before clicking I want to check, is it selected? Okay. So I'm just writing system.println is mail is selected. Okay. Now how do we print that? I will say plus. Now I want to print the value whether it is selected or not. So for that you need to have that web element first, right? Web element, let's say radio mail, or it is actually MR, it's Mr. So MR, write the code, driver dot find element by dot ID, and the name is ID underscore gender 1. Okay, I got the element, so it is radio MR, and here I will just print radio MR dot is selected. You can see there are many methods. So is enabled, it means yes, that element is enabled and it is present on a web page. Is selected, it will tell you whether it is selected or not. Okay, is selected will return true if it is selected, and it will return false if it is not selected. So is MR is selected. The same line I will print after click. After click, and here I will write before. This is only for your information, guys. Okay, this is just for your information. So before clicking I'm printing is selected, after clicking I'm printing is selected. So let's run this code and see the outcome. Oops, there is something wrong. Let me find out. The driver executable does not exist. Okay, that is my mistake. It has to be drivers. Okay, I corrected the path and run it. The browser is launched. Okay, it's loading the web page. Okay, looks like nothing has happened. I was expecting that automation script to click on sign in, but looks like there is an issue. So what is the issue? Read timeout exception. Okay, there is some exception, guys, and let's find out this exception occurred on which line. So just try to find out our own class. My class name is automation practice. So let's find out automation practice here. You see this automation practice, line number 1313, click, and on this line I got error. I got error as read timed out. Now guys, this sometimes this happens because the version incompatibility. So just go back and confirm you have right version installed. Okay, the very first thing, I will open command prompt, edrive drivers, and I will write chrome driver.exe hyphen version. So this will tell me which version I'm using for Chrome driver. Now this is driver version I'm talking about. Let's check the browser version. This is my browser. Help about, oh, I'm sorry. Help about Chrome. The version which I have is 63. Okay. Now let's check the compatibility of online compatibility. That is Chrome driver. Google it. You will find out GitHub web page. Yeah, this one, chromium.org. Let's open it. Go to the last release. Last release 2.35, but the version which I have is 2.33. Okay, you can see there is a difference. Ideally it should be 2.35, which is the latest version, but I'm using version old Chrome driver. So let's download the latest version. Okay, the latest version supports Chrome from 62 to 64 version, and my Chrome version, I forgot my Chrome version. Yeah, let's go and click on download. Okay, then it is Windows 32. There is no Windows 64 option for Chrome. Let's wait until this get downloaded. Once it is downloaded, you have to copy that exe file and keep it somewhere. Okay. So in my case, I will say eDrive/drivers. I just pasted it. I will say replace. Okay. I cannot replace that file because it is already open. So if you get this error, just execute one command, task kill /f/im Chrome star. So this command is going to close your Chrome browser as well as Chrome driver.exe. So there were so many processes. Okay, there, and one was Chrome driver.exe. Now you say try again, and it is done. You can see that it is done. See, the version number is 2.35. And now let's try running the same script without any changes. So always make sure that you are using the right version of browser, right version of driver file, and the right version of Selenium. I always recommend everybody to use the all latest version. Okay, looks like there is an exception on the page, and the exception is still socket timed out exception, and read timeout is the exception which is shown. Let me check the browser version. It is 64, and the 64 version is supported. Just Google Chrome driver, click on the first link, click on the version, that Chrome driver 2.35. It supports version 62 to 64. That means I'm expecting that this Chrome browser should be working. If you want to read the notes, just go to the notes. There you will see the different versions and their respective Chrome browser supported. So the version number is 2.35. This is the one which I'm using. It was released on 10th of Jan. Okay, 10th of Jan, and it was supporting Chrome browser version 62 to 64. That means I'm actually using the right version, and it should be supported. It should be supported in the Chrome driver. Let me give a run again. Okay, to the right hand side I will check. I will keep Eclipse, and to the left hand side we have browser. See, Eclipse throw exception and the execution was stopped. Looks like there is some synchronization issue. This issue is related with the socket timeout, read timed out. So we need to fix that issue. I will find a solution and will share that with you. Uh, we are running out of time today. Not really, but I think, let's take hard stop for today. Guys, what I want is I want you to try the same thing. I'm sure that it will work on your machine. Just click on sign in, enter your email address. Okay, just enter your email address. And next is I want you to fill all of this detail. Okay, I want you to fill all of this detail. Now you might face a problem in selecting the value in a drop down list because we have not covered that part, but you can leave that as a blank. Just leave that drop down list as blank. For example, state, the country, just leave it as it is, but try to automate the other things like register button, till the register button. So yeah, so take this as an assignment. Thank you very much, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. We can discuss it now. There is a question from Farhan. What is the error of JVM? It is not error of a JVM. This is exception of coming from a WebDriver. It is not the JVM exception. Okay, Farhan. Shrikant is getting. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, Shrikant is getting a JVM exception. Okay, let me look into that. And thank you, guys. Thank you for attending.